Hey, it's Mike Zschunke, Berkshire Hathaway Homes and Shipton Properties in Scottsdale, Arizona. Friday morning market chat live. We're going to talk about residential, we're going to talk about commercial, and we're going to talk about the economy. And I don't know where we'll end up here, but try to keep these to 10, 15 minutes here. Anyway, inventory. I always start with single-family detached inventory. It's about the same as last week. Maricopa County was down a little bit. Scottsdale was up a little bit, but not enough to really make a difference. Had a lot come on the market, a lot come off the market. Starting to see those, again, that came off the market in June, July. They're starting to come on, but it's busy. You know, we've had kind of a crazy week. But anyway, this week, single in housing, we've had, what did we have? We had pending home sales come out. Nationwide, remember, when you see the headlines, these are nationwide numbers. Each neighborhood has its own little submarket and own little intricacies the way they work, but pending home sales nationwide was exactly the same as August. So some will make that a positive thing, some will make that a negative thing, but the August was the highest pending home sales we've seen this year yet. So things are moving. And remember, I look at single family detached homes and I'm trying to get very specific. I hesitate to throw out too many numbers and stats, because what works in the west side of Phoenix is not the same as Scottsdale or Santan Valley or Buckeye. You know, it's every market, even neighborhood is different. But Maricopa County pending home sales was down about 4%, but total sales was up 4%. Prices were up a little bit from August. Scottsdale pending home sales was up 1.4%. Total sales was up 10% for the month of September compared to August. So it's busy, you know, it's cool. It's cooling off now. It was actually a little chilly on our run this morning. But people are coming back. The snowbirds are definitely back. But sorry about that. We hit a live on a new listing this morning. And I always say you got to hit that price exactly right. And I think we got it, because I'm getting a lot of showing requests this morning. So it's good to see. Good to see. Actually, if you're looking, 815,000. It's right next to the TPC for the Phoenix Open, within walking distance. Nice little community you've probably never been to. But the only thing is, you have to let me park there for the Phoenix Open. That's the only part of the deal that works there. But because I've parked there the last 2 years. But great house, 815 next to TPC. Probably get a good, definitely get a good rental income for the week of the Phoenix Open on it. So, but a nice little family neighborhood as well. So let me know if you want that. But anyway, when you go and you hit active on a new listing, sorry about that. That you hit the price right. You think you hit the price right. You want to get the highest. I'm pretty good at pricing it. And this one, I think we got it, because I've gotten 3 showing requests since this morning already. So that's exciting for today. So it'll keep us busy. Anyway, each neighborhood has its own submarket. We said that. Scottsdale, we're just under 4 months of supply. 6 months of supply is normal. So while inventory has come up a little bit, we still need a lot more, you know, especially this fall. We have, let's see, today's October 31st. We've got about a month, then we're going to start hitting the holidays. And actually, you know, people always slow down. They're not really looking during the holidays, but the people that are shopping for the holidays are serious buyers. So put your house on now. You got 30 days, price it right, it'll sell. I guarantee if you price it right, it'll sell before Thanksgiving. And on the buy side, we can get you in. We've got some great lenders and things, if you're not paying cash, that can close pretty quick in this market. So I just want to mention real quick, protect your data. You know, a lot of what we do is off market and private client. Ask us if you're buying a property under an LLC. Coming up in March, if you're buying under an LLC, you have to disclose. We're going to talk about that next week, because I'm not real familiar with the details. But if you're buying an LLC in March, if you own real estate, which is popular for second homes and investment properties, you need to disclose every member of that LLC. So that's March. You know what I'm going to tell clients? I'm going to say finance 10% of the property, then you don't have to disclose it. So if you're paying cash and you're an LLC, you have to disclose those members coming up in March 2026. So you know what? You finance, take out a hard money for a month and finance 10%. So, but I didn't tell you that. Anyway, protect your data. I was digging around this one, Realtor.com. My job, I work pretty closely with my clients, so I know that. But pretty much everybody has a Zillow account, a Realtor.com account. Realtor.com is owned by Move Inc. Move Inc. is owned by News Corp Media. News Corp Media also owns Dow Jones Newswire, and they also own a little company called Storyful. Storyful is a social media monitoring company. So, we've all got our phones in our pockets. You might even just be thinking about something, and you'll start getting advertisements for it. That's what happens. These Zillows, these Realtor.coms, things like that, those are data companies. What do I always say? If the information is free, then you are the product. So it's your data. And I strongly believe we see a lot of fraudulent listings, a lot of fraudulent activity out there, especially on vacant properties and vacant lands. So protect your information. It's extremely important, especially in today's world of, we're being tracked all the time. So if it's important to you, it's important to me. So actually yesterday I had to call Chase Bank. Saw a frivolous charge. But anyway, just protect your privacy. Anyway, price your home right. It'll sell. There's a lot of people on the sideline right now. They're watching. Buyers aren't, 6% mortgage rates. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. And we're going to get into that in the end there under the economy. Commercial. This week has been a lot of. Does anybody remember Dear Abby? That was me this week. I got a lot of phone calls on the commercial side. Just advice and owning their business and or renting. How do I get out of a lease? Do I lease to this person? Do I sell to this person? Should I lease part of my building? And things like that. And just giving advice. I don't make money on it, but as I've always said, I believe in long-term relationships. I want you, if you have a real estate question, call me. I love that. And if I don't know the answer, I know enough contacts where I can find out the answer or point you in the right direction. So that's what this week's been a lot of fun stuff. We got a fun little project in Gilbert helping out a potential client. We'll see if we can't help them. We can't help them, but I think we can. So we'll see what goes with that. Anyway, commercial. Cave Creek signed a water deal with Harquahala Water Company. Our wonderful governor of Arizona signed a pretty crappy water deal with the Colorado River. So that Arizona's got plenty of water under the ground. It's just accessing it. So Cave Creek had the foresight. They signed a water deal they bought, I think it was an acre of land to get the water rights for Cave Creek because they see, as I've said, on the residential and commercial, that sprawl is just happening. The Pima Road, Scottsdale has just got approved. They're allowed to use federal funding for a Carefree Highway project. Carefree Highway, I love that area, going north Scottsdale out to the 17 there. That's going to be a lot different in the next 2, 3, 5 years. So if you're looking to invest in land or a commercial building, I'd buy that. And office building in Scottsdale. Scottsdale Air Park is super hot. They've had some of the highest leases. They just had the highest single building sale over by Kohl's and the 101 there, Scottsdale Air Park. So the big developers are coming in. They see Scottsdale Air Park. That's going to be the new center of Scottsdale. Right now, or it's always kind of been the old town. It's moving north. That 101 northeast section of Scottsdale, there's a lot of deals going on behind the scene and some big, big money. And I always say, follow that big money. I don't do those big $100 million projects. I don't want to. Those are teams of people. But as an investor, as a small investor, small business owner, you follow that big money and you'll do well. You'll do well on that. So that Northeast Corridor one, I saw a good reason for it. Somebody said it's halfway between the TSMC, the chip factory, if you're not from the area. That's a billion dollar deal in the Northwest. And it's halfway between Intel down by Chandler. So the offices or the office space is right in between. They can provide both of those big submarkets, that Northeast Corner 101, that can be a very popular, hot submarket there. There's a New York developer, another hot area, the Warehouse District in downtown Phoenix. And it's funny, a big developer is putting a building down there. It's funny because in New York, I saw it happen in the New York, the Meatpacking District, the Warehouse District. Those went from old, crappy warehouses to some pretty nice places. Even in Chicago, we lived in by Lincoln Park off of North Avenue. And if you look at out by the river, what was that? The river or something, Chicago. That used to be a pretty rough area. Actually, I used to walk through Cabrini Green to catch the L to get down to the Board of Trade, but walk through some rough areas. But that was a warehouse district, and developers come in, they make it nice. People will buy that. I love that old warehouse, those loft type buildings. So there's some good deals. There's some good opportunity there if you're looking for investments. Maricopa County Board of Supervisors is voting next week to change land use. They're not changing the zoning for the BNSF Railroad up in by Surprise or Whitman. That's another popular area. You can pick up some good land deals up there. BNSF, they're not changing the zoning because they got a lot of pushback from the residents. And so they're going to change the land use rules, or they're going to see if they can. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer or an attorney, so I don't know. But that reminds me, I went to a Scottsdale City Town Hall meeting. The new mayor, she's having these town hall meetings. City of 250,000 residents, less than 100 people showed up. Very informative meeting. It lets you know what's going on. And I'm pretty involved in local and state politics, just so I know what's going on. I don't always agree with the Scottsdale City Council or the state legislators, but we'll have a conversation. I'm pretty good at talking to anybody. We'll have a conversation and just get your input. A lot of people like to go online and bitch and moan about what the city's doing or the state's doing. Call them. Call your legislator. Call your congressman. I'm pretty involved in politics. I don't want to have to run for office, but I might have to. I don't know. I don't have much of a filter when it comes to things like that. I'm not very politically correct at all times. So, but maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need a voice for the people. So I don't know. Let me know if you want me to run for office. I really don't want to, but maybe. So we'll see. But anyway, get involved in your community. We all have to live here. We all have to, wherever it is you live, you all have to live together, make your community home. And you can provide decisions. So that goes back to commercial real estate, the small business owner, things like that. So, and remember, commercial real estate's all about the financing. Can you borrow money at a cheaper rate than you can get a return on that money? And if you're a small business owner, own the business. I just 30 seconds or 10 minutes ago saw the MGM in Las Vegas. They sold all their real estate to buy back their stock, and now their stock is down like 15%. Well, why would you sell the real estate that you have to run your business? You take away that from your business model. Of course, it's MGM. They're huge. They do whatever they want. But anyway, the economy. Economy's been fun this week. A lot of false information out there, like I said the other day. We're still in a government shutdown. So we're not getting the government data, which is, with all the revisions, people, can you trust the government data? I did hear that next week we might get an unemployment number, which is a big number. But we had a Fed rate cut. Jerome Powell announced they're cutting Fed funds overnight lending rate by 25 basis points. It doesn't mean your mortgage rate's going down. That's different. That's 10 years versus an overnight lending rate. And what most people aren't paying attention to is Powell said that they're going to let the mortgage-backed securities roll off the balance sheet. They see a little bit of short-term funding issues. Banks borrow from the Fed discount window when they need more funds. Banks are required to hold a certain amount in their coffers, I guess. But they're going to let those. They see some liquidity issues coming up, so they're going to let those roll off. They're not going to shrink the balance sheet, but people are missing out that they're going to replace those with short-term treasury bills. They don't want the mortgage exposure. I thought that was really interesting. So if the Fed starts selling or rolling off these mortgage-backed securities, there's going to be more supply. Prices should decrease. When bond prices decreases, yields go up. Remember, there's an inverse relationship there. So when you hear people talking about rate cuts, that's another thing. Freddie Mac comes out on Thursday, and they issue to all the News Corps. They take a survey of lenders of the prior weeks. On Thursday, they released on Thursday. It's the prior week's lending rates. Well, the Fed came out this week. Thursday was the big bond, not a big jump, but about 20 basis point jump. on the bond market, the 10-year bond, and that's what mortgage rates are based off of. So when the news media, remember, they aren't there. They aren't analysts. They are there to provide clicks and things. They say that the that mortgage rates are lowest ever. That's last week's news. They're already up again. So, and they're still not bad. I think, 6%, that's completely fair. That's completely fair. And, I was in a meeting this week about buying down your mortgage rate. There's another showing request. See, that's what happens when you price it right. We've got 4 showing requests already this morning. So that'll be fun. But anyway, just pay attention to what you're listening to. There's a lot of experts out there saying, just say things. Anybody who has a platform can say things, and then AI goes and grabs it. Don't trust data. ChatGPT, AI, that's great for creative things and maybe finding some answers. But when it comes down to facts, I wouldn't trust it. And I use it to double check things and things like how fast it's going to take me to run a 50K. Well, it's pretty slow. So anyway, I don't know where we were going. We're getting ready to wrap this up. Anyway, hire your real estate broker. Trust their expertise. That's why you hire an agent, whether you're on the buy side or sell side. It's funny, this week I'm getting a lot of properties. I've got a lot of clients from New York calling. They want to get out of New York, Chicago, and the Northwest. They want to come to Arizona. Again, tax savings, and it's a beautiful place. It's a great time of year to be here. But hire your broker for their expertise and their experience. It's how we work through things. I get a lot of calls from other agents. How can we make this deal happen? And again, I don't sell anything. I just want to be the person you think of. If it has to do with real estate, give me a shout. Anyway, I got to run. I got to take care of these showing requests. But busy day. Got a lot of running around today. Happy Halloween. I'm not a big fan of Halloween. I understand if you have kids, it's a great holiday. But my brother and his friends beat me and my friends up and took our candy when we were little. So maybe I still have a little bit of that in my heart. I'm just not a fan of Halloween. But anyway, enjoy it. Be smart. Be safe. Have a great weekend. I have some beautiful weather here in the valley. Give me a shout if I can help you. There's a new farmer's market over at 5350 West Bell Avenue that's interesting. Highline Cars and Coffee is going on. There's a lot going on this week. This is the time of year where Scottsdale and the Phoenix area in general. There's a lot going on. It's busy. So give me a shout if I can help you. Again, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Have a great day. Be smart, be safe, and we'll talk to you soon.